you done now?
Look, I suggest we take the cook's body into the study.
Why?
I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
Look! What? The body's gone!
What are you all staring at?
Nothing.
Well, who's there?
Nobody.
What do you mean?
Nobody. Nobody, that's what we mean. Mr. Body's body, it's gone.
Maybe he wasn't dead.
He was.
We should have made sure.
How? By cutting his head off, I suppose.
That wasn't called for.
Where is he?
We'd better look for him. Well, he couldn't have been dead.
He was. At least I thought he was. But what difference does it make now?
Makes quite a difference to him.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Clue the Movie podcast, where we break down the 1985 cult classic movie, Clue. 1 minute at a time. My name is Brad Gilmore, joined in California by Jeff Smith. Jeff, how are we?
I am well, yes. I have transferred over. I'm sure you'll be able to tell, listeners, that this voice is now coming from the West Coast instead of Massachusetts.
Well, man, I'm sure you're enjoying your time back in the sunny West Coast. And the thing is, you actually posted a really funny video to your Instagram of you going from traffic in Boston to traffic in LA. But it was actually really well done, and I enjoyed it. I wanted to let you know that.
If you're a personal friend of mine, you got that.
Yes.
It's just my account's private. But Brad Gilmore, he's on that list.
You know, I feel like we're friends and we've never met each other.
I know. I don't even know how tall you are.
I'm being told that I'm deceptively tall.
What does that mean?
So from people who see me on the camera and then they meet me in the real life, I always seem taller to them in real life than they thought that I was going to be.
I don't even think I've ever seen you in a standing position. So, but I would still guess definitely over 6 feet.
I am over 6 feet tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
6'2"?
No, I'm not that tall. I'm like a 6'1"er. I'm like a 6'1"er.
Okay.
What are you? You look tall.
I am 6'2".
You're 6'2".
So, there you go.
Taller than me.
We'll just, when we finally stand next to each other, we'll be like two tall dudes.
Two tall Jones
Wearing
was a
baseball
wrestler
hats.
back in the day. Hey, man, we got a lot to talk about. We're coming off an incredible episode, a bonus for all of our Cluvians out there. Leslie Ann Warren was on the show, Jeff Smith. This is crazy.
I was there. I remember, yeah.
You were there. I was there. We had her for about 45 minutes. She was incredible. It was fun to hear her whole kind of life career story in an abbreviated sense, right? It was definitely abridged, as they say in the audiobook world. But we got a lot of great stuff from her and it does seem like, and tell me if I'm off base with this, but it seems like Clue is the one she's most asked about, even more than her Academy Award nominations and things of that nature. And two, it seems to be the one that she may have had the most fun on.
I think so, because we were not aiming to just talk Clue. Obviously, it was going to come up as we have a Clue the Movie podcast, but it kind of just went there organically, I think, and she had a lot to talk about it. So I think you're right. I think, and that's great that she's willing to talk about it. She's like the anti-Christopher Lloyd. Great Scott.
Can I get a great Scott, Jeff Smith? Can I get a great Scott?
Great Scott!
So good. Can I get a, oh, what difference does it make now? No, he won't do that. No quotes from Clue.
I don't have any Clue quotes.
That's all right. Well, we just heard a minute's worth.
I do have a drop from the rapper Bun B. Do you know who Bun B is?
No.
From UGK, the Underground Kings. The man who is the proprietor of Trill Burgers.
Go on.
Here we go.
Brad Gilmore and this bitch.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, you are.
H-Town legend. H-Town legend,
There
Bun
you
B. Jeff, not only do we have Leslie and Warren, I want to give a big shout out here.
Okay.
I want to give a big shout out to, we got a new review on the Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
And I wanted to share it with the world here. This is the person, this was written on Monday. So when we're doing this is, because we're actually very current now. So this is on Monday. This was written, so 6 days ago at the time of this recording. And the person who wrote it, their name, Cluevian.
Wow.
Right? The title, please continue to go off on tangents.
What?
And
that's
the stars, 5.
enabler, by the way.
And here it is. You ready?
All right. Did you write this?
No, I didn't. This podcast is the highlight of my Mondays.
Wow.
Highlight. I love learning new details about my favorite movie. It has a U in favorite, so this must be a European.
It's a giveaway.
European person, or maybe Canada.
Australia.
Or Aussie. And both Brad and Jeff are full of amazing info about Clue. Leslie and Warren was an amazing get, and I'm hoping John Hatch returns at some point to get more of his takes on each minute. No matter what anyone says, nothing about this show is cringe. Keep up the great work, guys. P.S.
Oh, good.
That's postscript.
Yes.
In regards to which character would have had which social media, Mr. Green would have had what's called Finsta, short for fake Instagram, which is essentially a second Instagram page that's designed for the public, while your primary page is for close friends only. Since he's the fake Mr. Green, he'd have to have a Finsta pretending to be the real Mr. Green so he could keep the act up. So that comes from Cluevian.
Cluevian. Wow.
Cluevian came through on that one.
I swear. Cluevian's been listening.
Cluevian's been listening. Now, so I want to give a shout out to that. And before we start minute 37, one more thing is, Jeff, you said before you left Massachusetts,
yes,
you got to see an on-stage production of Clue. How did that go?
Oh, I did. I should look it up real quick.
I think it was called Clue.
Before. It was called Clue on stage. You're right. I just want to look up the company that did it, because they did an excellent job. I'd never seen it on stage before, and it was by the Greater Boston Stage Company. Thank you. I saw it on June 24th, and it was very interesting. They had to adjust things for the stage, but some of the adjustments that I appreciated based on things we've talked about here is they actually had the cook at the door when the guests arrived, gathering their coats. So when Mrs. Peacock showed up, I thought, ooh, how are they going to handle this? And Mrs. Peacock fully saw the cook, and they both made a reaction to each other. And Wadsworth said, I see you two know each other. So that's how they got around the trying to not show the cook. They flat out showed the cook and revealed that they know each other. Then this play, spoiler alerts, had about 6 endings where everybody did it individually, but the last one revealed that Mr. Green was not the real Mr. Green. He knew Mr. Green. He worked for the FBI, but he flat out said, I am not Mr. Green. So
what?
And that's what I did. I jumped to my feet and went, I knew it! In front of all the elderly Massachusetts people. I was the youngest person in the audience, but that's okay.
Wow. So our Mr. Green
flat
theory
out did it.
Here's the thing. What was it? The Boston
Greater Boston Theater Company. They basically confirmed it, and when they do it, it's the real deal.
You know what? I actually think it's even more than that. I think that they listened to this podcast and they changed the stage play
maybe
based on our recommendations.
Yeah. I think the original script said, and by the way, I really am Mr. Green, in case you were wondering.
Yes.
And then they heard the podcast and went, oh, wait.
What if he's not?
Change that to, I'm not really Mr. Green. Thank you, Clue the movie podcast.
Yes.
Cluvians.
All the Cluvians out there. Well, you know what? We should fast forward to the minute that was. This is minute.
Yeah, we are back on format this week, so we should talk about our minute in the kitchen.
Minute 37 begins with
37
continual conversations of the cook's untimely demise in her own domain of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it ends with a search for a body of Mr. Boddy. So let's start with the cook thing. There's a few things that stood out to me. Wadsworth proposes the idea that we need to move the cook's body into the study. Now, in the realm of bad ideas, this one is pretty high up there, because if you are truly innocent, wouldn't you want to preserve the crime scene?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah. It's not a very good idea. I think it's purely for staging.
Especially because the police are coming, right? Or at least that's what's proclaimed. Here's the thing. If I was, let's say, Professor Plum or Colonel Mustard or somebody who we know didn't have any motive with the cook, or we at least think it, and I'm truly innocent, and Wadsworth is like, let's move the body to the study, I would say, no. We don't need to touch the body. We leave the body here. You said, Wadsworth, the police are coming. Let them come. They'll inspect the crime scene, and hopefully we can figure out who did it. They'll interrogate us all. That's what an innocent person would say. So in my mind, I would immediately think Wadsworth had to kill this cook.
Yeah. Let's all move the body, and let's all get our fingerprints all over. Let's all help together move her around, and now everything's ruined. Because in the minute before, in 36, it's on their radar. They mentioned, don't touch that. That's evidence, when Colonel Mustard grabs it. Well, she's saying that, but what your favorite moment, I think, at least in one of your top 5.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
So that's they're not very good at preserving the crime scene, that's for sure.
And then his explanation for why he wants to move it is, well, I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy. Which again, I understand is sort of supposed to be just, comedic relief and a joke. However,
it's levity.
However, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, come on.
What are we talking about here?
Levity's one thing.
So then they all move the body down the hall, and we see they're carrying it. Now I want to actually break this one down for the audience. So the people that it seems to be is carrying the cook is, I'm looking here now just to make sure I have it. Yes. So in frame we have Mr. Wadsworth the butler, holding her left arm, Professor Plum holding her right arm, Mr. Green holding her left leg, and Colonel Mustard holding her right leg, with Yvette in clear view coming up the rear, and then there's Mrs. Peacock to the right of her. So we have 5. Let's see. No. Who do we have? We're missing 2 of the game piece characters at this very moment, right? We do not see Mrs. White, nor do we see Mrs. Scarlet. Now, Mrs. White appears at 18 seconds into this movie when she comes into the door frame, and we see her, but still no Miss Scarlet. Miss Scarlet is the last one to show up, right? She is. They're looking for Mr. Boddy's body. They don't see it, and Miss Scarlet.
Mr. Boddy's body, it's gone.
Hold on, I'm listening.
Dead.
He was.
We should have made sure.
How? By cutting his head off, I suppose.
I'm looking here. Exactly.
Where is he?
So right there at 34 seconds, she rushes in and says, "Let me see." Yvette is even looking down the hall as almost if she's waiting for Miss Scarlet. Like, I see you coming. Are you coming? Miss Scarlet comes. What is the reason here for Miss Scarlet's delayed appearance in the frame?
I don't think in any of the endings Miss Scarlet is doing anything at this point that we know of. It could just be Jonathan Lynn now messing with us to see if we are paying attention that people are coming and going, or at least taking their time getting into the room. She does have that wonderful entrance where she pushes everybody out of the way to say, "Let me see." But I don't think in the endings anything's happening at this point, other than because I don't think she doesn't hide Mr. Boddy's body.
So what was she doing?
Mr. Boddy in the first one, or is it Yvette that kills Mr. Boddy in the first one? I don't remember now.
In the first
How
ending?
embarrassing. Yeah, and Miss Scarlet's ending.
Miss Scarlet's ending, it's
Who kills Mr. Boddy the second time? I think it's Yvette during the cook scene.
I think so. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Comments, Cluvians.
Or, everyone just lost their mind collectively yelling at us.
Yeah, because they went, who are these idiots doing the Clue podcast?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I agree. I say that every episode, folks.
I'm just trying to figure out what her, as they say, modus of operandi is for showing up late here. I mean, it just seems weird. Was she studying the crime scene, perhaps? Or is this when she was discovering there might be another way in or out? I don't know.
Secret passageway.
Right.
That's true. There is a secret passageway in the kitchen.
So is she discovering that at this moment? And then just as she discovered it, she comes running in late,
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Information later.
Something's going on. We don't know what, but it is definitely something here because
definitely something.
What we've figured out about this movie is everything is very purposeful.
Yeah, that's true.
We figured that out. Things are very purposeful. So why, all of a sudden she shows up late? Maybe I'm getting too hung up on this, but I really don't think that I am. I really think
don't think so either.
There's got to be more of an explanation to this. And if somebody out there can tell me, I would love it. I normally rely on Jeff for these things, but obviously he's
I know
not
I'm failing you today. It's the California weather. I'm sure that the Ben Ripleys and the Patrick Gibbs and the people that comment regularly are right now grabbing their keyboards and are typing their theories. Hopefully.
I would hope so because I need some assistance in this one because I don't see a clear reason why. Now though, moving forward from that, we see Mr. Boddy's body is gone.
Yes.
Now, it's hard to say, transport me back to the first time you saw this movie. But what are you thinking when we see Mr. Boddy's body gone? So are you thinking, 1, he wasn't really dead? 2, is there someone else in the house who's now moved Mr. Boddy's body?
Yeah.
Or what's going on here?
I would put myself back. Okay, so now I'm 10. I would assume that he was never dead, is alive, is like running around ready to be a murderer, and somebody is his partner. Maybe. Although, no, it could just been him. Because we didn't see the cook for a very long time. So her getting stabbed, although it's with the knife that was in the study, so it wasn't like it could have happened any earlier. How did the knife get to the cook? Picked up the dagger. That's Yvette later.
Well, yeah, we know that later, but now it's like
we're just knowing that Mr. Boddy was never. I would assume he was never dead. I don't think anybody moved him just for S&G.
S&G. When I think about it, to me, okay, look, going back to Mr. Boddy's motive here. You're showing up. You have an idea of what is going to go on, right? Because I know at first he says, what are they doing here? But he also has weapons for everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So
just in case.
So obviously he's a forward thinker, leaving Mr. Boddy.
Yeah.
He's a forward thinker. So I took the time to wrap the gifts up. I gave them to the people whom I felt needed them. I had exactly enough weapons for a dinner party with company whom I did not expect to show up. He's thinking ahead on this one. Don't you think he would have thought at some point someone might try to kill me?
Definitely.
Okay, so doing that, I would have thought one of two things. Either one, this would have been a great out for Mr. Boddy. Drink the cognac, right? Whether we know it's, at least drink something to where we think this is poison. And he goes, fakes his own death, falls out.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then make your escape. Or what you said, and this is actually what I honestly thought, maybe not when I first saw it, but when I put thinking into Clue, because there was a point in time, way before we did this podcast, way before you and I ever met, where I watched this movie one time and really tried to figure out the mystery as it showed us before the endings and really try to put it together. I did think for a period of time, Mr. Boddy had an accomplice.
Yeah.
It just seems like it because we just hear Mr. Boddy arrive. We don't see him in his vehicle, right?
No, you know what's funny? They actually did shoot a scene of him arriving, but never used it. We only hear him arrive now.
So we don't know if he had a driver. We don't know if he was in a car by himself. We don't know anything about his arrival.
Actually, we see the cars at the end in the Peacock ending, well, some of them, and I'm guessing there's not a Mr. Boddy car sitting out there. So I agree. There was no Uber.
No.
He didn't take a ride.
Did he take a taxi?
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 Would Mr. Boddy take a taxi?
Well, and here's the thing. It's strange. It'd be a lot of luggage to bring into the taxi. You got all these.
Yeah. No, I think he got. This is good. It's the Clue tangent. I think he got dropped off. But by who?
By
what?
By whom?
By whom? Thank you.
It's okay. But I'm just wondering. Okay, so let's go on this for a minute. Was the plan then like, okay, this actually kind of makes more sense now that I'm thinking about it.
All right.
Was the plan go in there, introduce all these murderous weapons, make sure that these people take out Wadsworth, because that's what he says. He's got the key to the front door. He's making Wadsworth the bad guy here. Fake my own death. And then make my escape. They already think I'm dead. Have my ride waiting for me somewhere, but the front door is locked though, right?
Right. So he's got to get the key, but Wadsworth has the key, and now Wadsworth's dead.
Right.
So he could, but he didn't even have to. If they ended up killing Wadsworth, he doesn't have to fake his own death. He could just say, "All right."
No, I'm saying that he leaves the weapons. They think that he's dead. They all get suspicious of one another, right? They all get suspicious to one another. Somebody killed this guy. Who did it? Wadsworth, man, this is weird. They all start turning on each other. He waits for the proper moment to make his exit.
Yeah.
And then has somebody waiting on him. But I guess he can't leave unless, because he doesn't know the house. We've established this isn't his house.
Right. That's true, because he goes running, when he tries to make his weird escape, when he goes running to the conservatory, that's like the worst place for him to go.
The absolute worst.
Yeah. I would assume that the motorist is who's waiting out there.
The motorist
that's there later. That's the driver. And, okay, now I'm creating a whole scenario.
Let's do it.
Driver's out there, and he's like, I'm getting out of here. Mr. Boddy's not coming. This is dangerous. He takes off. In his panic, crashes his car. Now he's got car trouble. And now he's stuck. Now he's got to go back and pretend like I don't know anything that's going on. I'm just Jeffrey Kramer from Jaws.
Whoa. Yeah. I'm kind of liking where this is going.
Yeah.
So we think Mr. Boddy and the motorist could have potentially been accomplices.
Cahoots.
They could have been in cahoots.
Yeah. Well, we know that everybody that got there was for a reason. So, and why not? He's got a car. There's no other car out there. I like the idea that Mr. Boddy was dropped off. Who else? Not the cop. Not the singing telegram girl.
No.
I don't even know how the singing telegram girl got there.
We don't know that either.
Who dropped her off?
Unless...
Is her car sitting out there?
She shows up. She shows up after the motorist, right?
Yeah, she's the last one.
She's the last one.
She shows up and goes up to the front door of this house that doesn't have any power.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
But what a pro. We'll get to that later. But what a pro that she's like, I got a job to do. This looks
Da,
dangerous.
da,
but,
da,
eh,
da.
yeah.
Kills it.
I'll just sing my song and go.
Kills it. Literally.
Yeah.
So okay. Now back to Mr. Boddy's body being gone, though.
Yeah.
So we're to think he wasn't dead,
Right.
or I guess right now we don't know.
We don't know, but yeah. Going back to your original question, did anyone ever think that someone just moved his actual dead body? Probably not.
So okay.
Unless you did.
So he's really dead. Now, it was Professor Plum who checked his pulse after the gunshot went off. Now, Professor Plum, have we established exactly what kind of doctor he is? Because he says he practiced some psychological medicine.
Right.
He's
not a forensic expert.
Well, but right. So, but I'm saying he's not a medical doctor. Or, well, I guess a psychiatrist is a doctor, but they're not
but even a psychiatrist
MD.
could tell if his patients are alive or dead.
Well, I guess
I heard that somewhere.
Well, I guess
in the ending of the everybody did it, he knows that he's not dead.
Right.
And one of the other ones, he just says, "All right, I made a mistake." So he's just dumb.
Yeah, at least I thought he was dead. Was his reasoning here?
Maybe
what does that mean?
Still want to touch him that long, or he just stinks. He's not good.
Is there a better way to check if someone's alive?
Anybody should have been able to. Yeah, just check the pulse. Like I can feel my pulse right now.
Isn't this the better test? Like the finger below the nose to see if they're breathing?
Finger to his nose. Yeah, there's lots of ways. Like I would, or like I slap him in the face and go wake up.
That's a good one.
All these things.
Yeah.
Pour water on their face.
They can no-sell that.
No. Yeah.
It'd be pretty incredible.
Breeze past the he's dead pretty quick.
And then I like that they're looking like in a very open-spaced room for a body.
Oh, I noticed that too. Yeah. Mrs. White is like peering behind the curtain that nobody could fit behind. But also, Mr. Green, he does this now, I've noticed since we've been tearing this apart, in multiple scenes where he looks in a very he looks the same way whenever he searches a room. He moves his head like a raptor, where he's just kind of looking around very intensely, and he does it here too. He doesn't look behind anything. He just looks on the floor that everybody can see. Now, nobody's there, but they don't do a very thorough job looking around the room for Mr. Boddy.
Are you saying that Mr. Green's searching style might be from some sort of police training?
Police training, perhaps. It's very deliberate. That's the word I was thinking. Very deliberate. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like when you burst into a room, you check before you go further. It's
Did he do
like
one of those things?
Yeah. Like what Clarice Starling did not do in the opening of Silence of the Lambs when she was training.
She should have, though.
She should have, and then she didn't learn her lesson, but she was okay. Spoiler alert on Silence of the Lambs.
That movie came out, what, 97?
It's 30 years old, but just in case. It's very good if you haven't seen it. You should check it out.
Yeah. It's no clue.
It's no clue. Nothing is.
Nothing is. But I'm interested to see kind of where this goes as far as Mr. Boddy. Because you know what, though? He did a really good job of pretending to be dead.
Yeah.
When he's sitting on the couch and then there's Oh, wait, have we gotten to that yet?
The next time we see him on the couch, he's actually dead. That's
that
later.
time he is actually dead. That's right.
Up until now, he's just lying on the floor.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see where this ends up. I'm still stumped on Miss Scarlet showing up late.
Taking her time.
I really am. I can't figure that one out.
She has a very tight skirt. It might take her a little bit although she was running just fine before.
You noticed the tightness, huh?
Purely from a aesthetic point of view.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, I think that probably wraps us on minute 37.
That was a lot, yeah.
It was a lot. We'll pick up with minute 38 and the continued search for Mr. Boddy's body. You have anything? Can we promote anything that maybe we can say or no?
I don't know.
Not yet. Okay.
So, yeah, maybe next week.
Next week. We'll do it next week.
Yeah. You know what? Next week, I'll just say it. Because if they haven't announced it by next week, it's not my fault. Because it's coming. It's coming, folks. We're talking about Who Done It, the Clue documentary streaming. It's real soon. That's all I can say right now. But so those that can announce it have yet to announce it. But I'll say next week.
Okay.
And I think they'll be okay.
Well, we'll pick
next week.
that
I'll
up.
tell you the date.
That's a tease.
There's a date.
That's a tease for minute 38 of Cluedo Movie Podcast. This was minute
38. That's a clue, by the way.
7. And we will be back next week on this very show. We'll see you then. Leave a review if you like the show. And we'll read it on the air. That's how we do it. But until next time, guys, that's Jeff Smith. I'm Brad Gilmore. This Cluedo Movie Podcast, and we'll be back with minute 38.